A senior U.S. official tells East Asia to put the past behind them, and experts weigh in on when North Korea will conduct its next nuclear test. Plus, Asia's women are better educated, yet still fall behind, and China prepares to blacklist officials. From Monday the 2nd of March 2015, this is the Asia Brief. United States Undersecretary of State for Political Affairs Wendy Sherman, speaking at a seminar in Washington on Friday, said, quote, "Nationalist feelings can still be exploited, and it's not hard for a political leader anywhere to earn cheap applause by vilifying a former enemy. To what extent does the past limit future possibilities for cooperation? The conventional answer to that question, sadly, is a lot." End quote. The Undersecretary went on to mention controversies over the comfort women and the body of water between South Korea and Japan, noting the issues are understandable but also frustrating. Sherman also noted that focusing on these issues produces paralysis, not progress. And for the region to grow, those involved must see beyond the present and envision what might be. This also comes as President Park Geun-hye called upon Japan to apologize to former sexual slaves during her March 1st address, a holiday honoring South Korea's uprising against Japan in 1919. It's a celebration that in some ways prohibits the nation from looking forward, as Sherman noted. Last week, South Korean papers were full of speculation from analysts trying to answer the question, when will North Korea conduct its next nuclear test? It's something we've expected to happen for more than a year. Each, of course, had their own opinions. An Chan-il, head of the World Institute for North Korea Studies, said the test may be in October of this year, to coincide with the 70th anniversary of the foundation of the Workers' Party. A local news organization said that we could see a test as early as April or May when the United States and Korea end their joint military operations. But those two dates are months apart. Therefore, I contacted Daniel Pinkston, Senior Analyst and Northeast Asia Deputy Project Director for International Crisis Group, and put the question to him. Just when might we see a test?
I would say that North Korea's ambitions or policy preferences or goals are very clear, and they are very committed to acquiring nuclear capability and enhancing that capability. They've been working on that for decades now. They've been very clear in the way they've allocated resources to that program. They've been firm in their commitments to acquire those capabilities and delivery systems, and they've sustained that. Over a long period of time, they've been willing to bear the cost of that. And so doing a nuclear test would be consistent with everything they've done in the past. It's consistent with their state ideology. It's consistent with their constitution. It's consistent with their party bylaws and statutes and everything else. So, yes, conducting a nuclear test would give them data and information about their nuclear arsenal that would be helpful in expanding their nuclear capability. So that would be very consistent with everything they want to achieve. When that might happen, when the timing might be right, that's just speculation on our part.
As Pinkston pointed out, that's really what it boils down to. When dealing with North Korea, most of the time we're speculating. We just don't have enough hard data. If we turn back to last year, look at all the speculation about who was in power when Kim Jong-un disappeared. There's even differing opinions about how advanced North Korea's nuclear arsenal is. Joel Witt, the chief analyst at 38 North, says the DPRK could have as many as 100 nuclear weapons by 2020, while Rand Corporation's Bruce Bennett says that number may be closer to 50. The bottom line? We'll just have to wait and see. All this comes as North Korea issues new threats of unleashing a merciless sacred war against the United States. The MasterCard Worldwide Index of Women's Advancement announced on Friday that while women in the Asia-Pacific region are better educated, they lag behind men in securing leadership roles in business and politics. In fact, women outnumber men at universities in 10 of the 16 countries surveyed. New Zealand, Australia, the Philippines, and Singapore scored the best for women, while Indonesia, South Korea, and Bangladesh showed fewer opportunities for women. Companies with more women in leadership outperform those who do not, So male dominance of leadership roles should be concerning, said Georgette Tan, MasterCard spokeswoman for the Asia-Pacific region. In the survey, New Zealand and the Philippines scored the highest, with more than 50 female business and government leaders or business owners for every 100 of their male counterparts. China's President Xi Jinping has been trying to rout corruption and establish the rule of law. As a result, state media announced it will blacklist and punish officials who interfere in judicial investigations and trials. According to the Xinhua news agency, quote, the new system will act as a firewall to safeguard the independence of judicial departments. Party and government officials bear an important responsibility for realizing the rule of law in China and should refrain from meddling with judicial investigation and trials. End quote. However, Xi's administration has demonstrated little interest in positive change, detaining dissidents and even lawyers. In fact, the party says officials should reject the notion of an independent judiciary and adhere to the party leadership and ensure correct political orientation. Be sure to keep up with more news from the region by following Asia News Weekly on Facebook and Twitter. You can also send me an email with your show comments, your questions, and your feedback. Just drop a line to podcast@asianewsweekly.net. If you enjoyed today's podcast, please share it with your friends, and while you're at it, subscribe. You can do that to this and other podcasts on our website, asianewsweekly.net, or in your favorite podcast application like iTunes or Stitcher. Subscribing is free, and when you do, the next episode is automatically delivered to you. Thank you so much for listening today. For the Asia Brief, I'm Steve Miller.